And, as a pastor, as a person of faith, I take great offense with the way in which he is weaponizing the symbols of our great country and also the symbols of the faith towards this kind of hate. And we've seen this kind of thing historically. And listen, we're the United States of America. I think there are enough decent people. We will push past this awful chapter of hate and division and Trumpism. But I have to say that the Christian church is going to have to come to terms with the fact that there is no full accounting for this phenomenon of Trumpism without reference to the church. And we got to come to terms with that. My faith is not a weapon, it's a bridge. And that's the way Dr. King used his faith. That's the way Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel used his faith, who said when he marched alongside Dr. King, he felt like his legs were praying. And I was trying to call us back to that moral tradition that evinces certain values that I think are resonant in all of the great faith traditions.
I mean, had the big IUD in the middle of the DNC convention. We have Christians who are really, rallying for the Democrat Party. How does this jive? Not even about the IUD, they're giving out free vasectomies and abortion pills. This is the driving force for the Democrat Party. How does this jive with evangelicals, Muslims, Christians?
They think that they're smarter than God. I mean, honestly, it's like the Democrat Party, they have positioned themselves in the way that they know more than God himself.
It's tragic. And I think a lot of the young men who may take advantage of the free vasectomy, they're going to wake up after the religious fervor has worn off, having made a permanent decision at a political function, no less. And they're going to have a lot of regret. So I mentioned last week on the program that the left, they're really anti-religion, and that's not unique to the American left. That's just leftist everywhere. Mm-hmm. But they set up little demigods. This birth control thing is one of them. And of course, the demigods like birth control, climate change, all sit beneath the chief god, which is the government. So religious fervor, definitely, that's acting on these people and getting them to make permanent decisions at a political convention. It's just really strange.
Anything that is free or labeled as free, it will draw a lot of people. And unfortunately, many of those people happen to be Black people like you and I are. So you hear the word free, it's like Pavlov's dog. Free, free, free. And that's all that matters, even sucking your children down a sink.
Yeah, they're running on this abortion, vasectomies, and racism. So that's really, they don't have anything else that they're really talking about. They're not talking about foreign policy. They're talking about some economic policies that really are not going to be good for America. But primarily, whenever you ask Kamala about anything, she just goes back to abortions and racism. That's really all that she has to say. Yeah. So it's, and separating people by race, that's just a Marxist tactic.
Yeah. Well, and we've actually been paying for that forever. We've been paying for years, because our Congress has various caucuses by ethnicity or whatever demographic group you want to call it. We've been paying for it from taxpayers, mandated, if you will, for paying for Congress. The same thing happens. But let me say this, and this might be, sound harsh, but I don't really give a damn. Quite frankly, I'm actually glad that these people have an IUD that they don't want to reproduce. I'm not talking about using abortion as a form of birth control. I'm talking about that they don't want to reproduce. I'm okay with that if they don't want to, because I don't want their little spawns being taught and trained by their local loony parents to come up and still, perpetuate this communist Marxist ideology in America. So I'm okay if they don't want to reproduce. I'm totally okay with that.
In the you should see how on the front page of the Democratic National Convention, they have something called a land acknowledgement. Take a look at this. I have it here. So this is the front page. It says the Democratic National Convention Committee wishes to acknowledge that we gather together to state our values on lands that have been stewarded through many centuries by ancestors and descendants of tribal nations who have been here since time immemorial. We honor the communities native to this content and recognize that our country was built on indigenous homelands. We pay our respects to the millions of indigenous people throughout history who have protected our lands, waters, and animals. And it goes on. I mean, is this necessary, Shelley?
For them, it is, for what they want to put forth and the ideology that they want. Look, they are on American soil. Every country and every state, if you will, not state, United States, but states around the world have been built on prior empires, prior countries. Hell, go over to the Middle East, the Persian Gulf. I mean, the Persian countries. They are built on top of each other to no end, if you will. These people want something different than America, than the United States of America. And they have zero, like the goose eggs on Kamala's page, they have zero qualms about stating what they want. The Republicans, we're the ones who have qualms about it. We're the ones who cower and don't want to offend people. We're the ones who do that, while they go around spewing their basically almost, I'm going to say their evil ideologies to transform the United States of America. They are totally unashamed about it.
First, let me just say, I strongly believe and take very seriously that we must acknowledge that the government of the United States stole land, took land from the tribes, and that there must be a restoration of that ownership for those lands that were possessed by the tribes. So that is a value I hold very dearly and very.
So it's funny that she would be okay serving as a senator and then presidential candidate for the same nation that she says is, has committed all of these atrocities. So she's a part of that machine. And I always tell people, look, if you want to complain about the lands that were stolen, I was having this conversation with a woman quite some time ago, and she was fervent. Okay, we need to give land back. I said, hey, you own a house, go get your deed and just find a Native American and start with you. Okay. And I didn't hear any more from her. So look, the Democrats, they've got their headquarters down on South Capitol Street. It's a start. Just deed. It's got to be worth a lot of money. It's in DC. Deed it over to an indigenous tribe that was local to the area, back when you Democrats stole it in the first place. Start with you.
Right. Right. Exactly.
When they have this type of convention, with what you said with the abortions and the vasectomies, to me, it seems like some kind of cult festival, with like sacrifice. So that's really, they came there to sacrifice their babies and to participate in this debauchery. That's really what they're all about.
Remember, I forget which DNC it was. It was who was running, and they actually debated whether or not they should add Christ or the Christian God somewhere in their platform, and they refused to do it. They had a vote, and 3 times, which was auspicious, they basically denied him thrice. Okay, they said no. Okay, so they've been on this godless kick for quite some time, overtly. All right.
Obama conventions.
I think you're right. Yeah. So, they just amp it up more and more. I guess, at 2028, they'll just go ahead and have a flaming statue of Baal and, just say, this is who we are, Yep.
Yeah, well, they'll probably be able to at that point. I mean, people don't seem to be rejecting this like you would think they would. And I don't see as many people as you would think, especially so-called Christians, so-called faith-based people. You would think they would have had enough. I mean, I'm not even say vote for Trump. Like I said, if you are a Democrat and you're sitting there watching all of this and you saying, man, this is crazy, I can't vote for this, I wouldn't even say vote for Trump, but I definitely wouldn't say support this woman and this party.
I mean, I can say why this is happening in the Christian community from my perspective. I think it's because of this idea that Christians now have that there shouldn't be any judgment. So, I've been hearing it since I came to this country. Oh,
you're right. That's part of it, Yon. I agree.
Don't judge. Christ didn't judge, or Christ is love. It's all love. You just have to, and from their perspective, love is just acceptance and just accepting of people how they are, however they are, and it's their choice, and that is what love is to them. And so there's this perversion that's of Christianity that has been happening in this country and probably in other Western countries, and it's infiltration of, I believe, these Satanists who actually want to destroy Christianity from within, and it's an insidious way to do it, to say, actually Christianity is all accepting of all these behaviors.
Yeah, I think the bottom line is that these leftists, progressives, mostly 99% of the Democratic Party, they hate America. But these are the same people who claim to be the tolerant, peaceful ones. They hate America. They hate anyone who stands for and with America. They hate what America stands for, because ultimately they don't want you or us to live in freedom. They want to rule over us. That's ultimately what their goal is, to wipe America as we know it off the map. They hate. And when I say hate, I mean they literally hate America. They will benefit from it because it keeps them in power, but they ultimately hate it for everyone else.
Absolutely. And power is a very strong factor in this. Power, and that power could come from any and everybody. Evil, things they will support it as long as they're getting power and money.